Welcome to First Home Mortgage. Who are you? Let's just go.
Okay.
Maybe that. How about that?
A running title.
Right. So I'm here today. Wes Wilkes came by. He's in here meeting realtors, locking loans, putting new ones in.
Yeah.
Killing it at the end of the year.
I'm trying. Yeah.
I like it. So we are in our brand new studio, makeshift. We're trying something new. This is going to be a blog / podcast maybe in the future. So I wanted to kind of interview Wes as a intro to all of this. Wes, how long have you been in the business?
Started in 2013.
And you've got kind of a interesting story. Where'd you come from? Who found you?
So I did banking a long time ago, like right out of high school. Then sold cell phones for Verizon.
Nice. So you're our in-house cell phone.
I was
tech.
It took a while to shake the Verizon. You know,
I'm sure you still help Jim.
Yeah. And then did that for a while. And I was friends with another mortgage lender. He's still in the business, works for another company.
Okay.
Kevin Robertson. And we've been family friends with him forever.
Okay.
And he kind of introduced me to the business. When I bought my first house in 2010, he actually set me up with Jim
To do your mortgage?
to do my mortgage.
Okay.
So I went and met with Jim, and I was just very impressed by Jim, by his process, the job, and just, I was like, man, I didn't even know this was his job. I tell my daughters now, they're, two of them in college, like, you don't even know half the jobs that exist right now at 18 and 20 years old.
Right.
And I had no idea what a mortgage lender was. In 2010, I was, 22, 23 years old. And Jim did my mortgage. Then a few years later, I, was talking to Kevin Robertson. I was like, I want to change careers. I want to do something different. My father-in-law came to me at one point. He was like, what are you offering the world? You're selling cell phones, but, when you leave at night, what are you offering the world? And that's like, it's fine, right? You're selling, you set the cell phone up. It was long hours. Sometimes we'll get off work till 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And I said, what am I offering the world? And I remember talking to Kevin.
Cell phones.
Yeah, but I was like, what? I remember going to my settlement. It took 2010. Me and my wife buying our first house. We had 2 kids. We were young, early 20s. And my wife crying because she was so happy that she could buy a house. You have kids early. You just think, life is going to be more difficult.
Right.
By 22, 23 years old, we were further ahead than most of our friends, and she was so happy. And I remember thinking, that's a pretty cool job. I never really had desires to go be a real estate agent, but I was like, the banking side just seems, I like that. Talked to Kevin. He said, we're not hiring. Talk to Jim. He did drill in a few years back.
In your backyard.
Yeah. I live in Mechanicsville. The office is in Hollywood. So I called Jim up, and the rest was kind of history. I met with Jim, kind of gave me the nuts and bolts of the business.
Yep.
Then I think a week later, I actually did lunch with you and Jim down at Stoney's when I was right down there in Hollywood.
Right.
And you guys kind of put the fear of the business in me a little bit. Like, hey, the first couple of years is going to suck.
Which is, and it's gotten worse.
Yeah.
With new recruits and rookies coming on. That's an important part of it, is knowing what you're getting into.
100%. And you guys did a really good job of setting the expectation. Hey, this isn't a get rich quick. You're not going to hop in and make a ton of money. Our president at the time kind of said, hey, be prepared to eat ramen noodles for the first year.
Right.
The first couple of years were a struggle, but the only regret I have is not getting into it sooner.
Yeah, that was kind of my biggest regret.
Yeah.
So if you were to do it all over again, how was your first year?
First year was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
The first year was better than expected.
What rates? Do you remember what rates was?
They were high 3s.
Okay.
In 2000, I guess 10 is when it started coming down.
First refi boom.
Correct. Yeah. 2015 is when they started going up a little bit, but 2013 they were fine. You hop in and you work your immediate sphere of influence. I'm not originally from Maryland, so I don't have, big families. I don't have, years of history of people. All it was friends. Friends with just school with who were just buying houses. I would say probably, my first handful of deals were all just people I went to school with. Reached. I forget who it was. It might have been Jim. One of the first things I did was give me advice to look up every person that I knew and send them a letter saying, hey, for years you supported me at Verizon, wherever it was, and I've now switched careers. Will you please continue to support me on my new job?
Right.
So I sent a handwritten letter to, let's say 50 people.
It's almost like a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Here's what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Need your help.
And that's what I did. And, just the first few deals were just people that I went to school with. And,
So back to my question. If you had to do it all over again when you started, would you have done anything differently? I mean, we all have that marketing. You're told, okay, work your sphere of influence.
Yeah.
Send out a welcome letter. Here's what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Birthday cards, Christmas cards, everything else. I put a little card, business card in the envelope. But you've been doing this quite a while now.
Yeah.
So you've seen a lot of different tricks and things you're adapting to.
Yeah.
You're meeting and talking to a lot of other loan officers in our company. Would you do things differently starting?
The hard part is you don't know what you don't know. I think now, knowing what I know, I would have probably set goals a little bit differently. I would have been more goal focused.
Yeah.
I was just so happy to do loans back then.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if I did, 10 loans a year or 50 loans a year. I didn't know what that looked like back then.
Right.
I was fortunate to be around successful loan officers with you and Jim. So I had good kind of, influences of what a successful loan officer looks like, but I never really set that goal. I was just happy to make money. I think now, here I am 13 years later, 14 years later, or whatever it is. I would have set goals differently. I've been more focused on
more money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't.
Yes, 100%.
So the biggest thing, just because I know your transition in history, is let's talk about First Home Mortgage, the company. You actually left.
Yep.
So let's talk about that. You left us, went somewhere else.
I did.
You're still back. You're back.
I am back.
So why'd you leave?
When you're a new loan officer in the business, your biggest struggle is getting referral partners. Most of those come from real estate agents. 90% of your referral partners are real estate agents.
Yeah.
First Home has done a very, very good job of hiring quality loan officers. But with that, when you're new in the business you meet an agent and they say, oh, I love First Home. I already work with Darren. And you're like, okay. You meet another one. Oh, I love First Home. We work with Jim. You do that enough times and you're like, it's kind of an unwritten rule with people you work with. I just think, it's good common practice that, hey, if Darren, Jim, whoever already has an established relationship, you don't step on those toes.
Right. We have a very good working relationship with everybody around us.
Correct. Yeah. First Home has a very good reputation, and I've benefited from that greatly. But at the time, I saw it as a frustration that if I ever want to be successful in this business, I need to get out of the shadows of Darren and Jim. I can't really have this roadblock. I've already worked with these people at First Home. It wasn't just you two. It was a lot of loan officers.
Right. Their offices.
Yeah. So in my mind, I was, in hindsight now, I was taking the easy way out. I'm going to leave. I can have access to these referral partners that I otherwise wouldn't have access to because of roadblocks in the form of other loan officers that worked for First Home. And I'll go make a lot more money. So I went to Bank of America. Was probably, I don't want to say it was the worst decision of my career because it really showed me a lot about the business that I didn't know, but I wish I would have never left.
So you went from our atmosphere of in an office, going out, getting your business, to working in a branch, sitting at a desk, having deals given to you or people referred to you that come to deposit money or talk to a financial planner, whatever it may be, and handling those. Did you meet real estate agents while you were doing that?
A few, because the business, the Bank of America office was in White Plains, which was attached to the RE/MAX 100 up there.
Okay.
So there was some natural kind of, chances to just meet referral agents or referral partners up there. It didn't go as well as I wanted to because a lot of it was, like you said, you're going to a bank.
Yeah.
You know, I was assigned a couple different banks, and
You're in the basement.
yeah, you know, one day a week you have to go to that branch, and it was like, you know, you talk to their tellers or their desk people, and you're trying to get them to send you business, and then it was just you relied so much on that part of it.
Some of them don't even have a mortgage.
No,
They're young.
yeah,
Right? Don't own a home.
and they're kind of, you know, I think years later, right, it had come out that, you know, Wells Fargo, you know, these people are kind of forcing themselves to give referrals. And you could feel that, you know, at the time that these, you know, tellers, these desks, you know, these people, you know, felt like they had to give these referrals to you. Most of them weren't very good.
Right.
You know, so you spent a lot of time just spinning your tires on nothing that never really went anywhere.
So you lasted there how long?
6 months.
Okay.
So I went there for 6 months, and then my actual manager at the time at Bank of America left and went to Wells Fargo.
Okay.
So I followed him to Wells Fargo. And I went to Wells Fargo for a year and a half. Still big bank. It was a little easier because I think Wells Fargo does a better job as far as, you know, supporting the mortgage side of their business.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't what I wanted.
It's a whole different atmosphere.
It is. You're very restricted on marketing. You don't have the freedom that you have with a local lender. You know, full transparency, you don't get paid as much because a lot of it's coming from, you know, leads generated inside of a branch.
Right.
You know, and you still didn't offer a lot of stuff, you know, like you didn't offer USDA, they didn't offer the Maryland Mortgage Program, a lot of things that we rely on at First Home for lower income, for first-time home buyers. So, you know, they're great if you want to cater to, you know,
Perfect credit.
yeah,
20%.
great credit, 20% down, you know, real cookie cutter just loans. But, yeah, but you know as well as I do, and probably better, that that's not 90% of your deals. There's less something within that file that goes wrong that you couldn't really wrap your hands around to get done.
It's probably really good during a drop in interest rates.
Yeah.
When people want to refinance.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting spoon fed those
Yeah.
people by financial planners in house, whatever it may be.
Yep.
Right. So came back to First Home Mortgage.
Yep. So 2013, we started First Home, left in 2015, came back in 2017.
Okay.
One of the awesome things is that when I left in 2015, I stayed on good terms with you and Jim.
Sure.
You know, Jim would text me all the time, "You ready to come back?" Not yet. And then one of those text messages came, "You ready to come back?" I think I am. And I came back December 11th, 2017. Just hit, I think it was 7 or 8 years back last week.
Just in time for, what was it, last Thursday?
Yeah.
Thursday. Just in time for another refi boom.
Yep.
Or, you know, getting it.
Yeah.
Actually COVID.
Yeah.
Which was a whole nother,
Yeah.
you know, discussion. But so being back, how do you feel about the environment, First Home Mortgage, compared to banks and things like that?
Well, I think part of it was at that point, I was 4 years into the business. So just naturally, I'm more comfortable being a loan officer. You know, there's a little bit of when you, especially being young in the business, you're competing against people that are more seasoned than you. So there's a little bit of an imposter syndrome a little bit where you don't really feel like I'm a loan officer, you know? After 4 years, you kind of, you know your way through a file, you know your way working through with agents. You just become a better loan officer in general.
Yep.
So it just became more natural, you know, working with realtors, having the products that First Home has, having the support of all the other loan officers. You know, in our office, we've got 5 of us, and we also have
Bouncing ideas off each other, everything else. Sure.
you know, and then we share ideas. We have a good, you know, friendship with our, you know, loan officers at Dunkirk. Yeah. I mean, you know, Aaron who played us. I mean, it's a really, you know, we go see each other. It's not, oh, that's my competition. You know, you're friends with these people.
Yeah. Southern Maryland contingency.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you were to talk to a rookie LO or someone getting into business, you went through that process.
Yeah.
Not to, you know, put it too harsh, but we tried to scare you.
Yeah.
You know, and give you the worst scenario. How would you explain the job or talk to someone that came to you and said, "Hey, I'm interested in being a loan officer. I want to learn more"?
Yeah. I always try to tell people that being a loan officer, it's a very technical job, knowing the guidelines, knowing the rules, but it's also a very sales job. You know, you have to go out and meet people. Now, how you combine those two is going to be the type of loan officer you want to be. You know, I'm very fortunate in our office that we have a lot of different ways to, you know, that loan officers do things. You know, the way you work is different than the way Jim and the way Arlene and the way Taylor works. So I would say find what fits you, and really lean into that. If you go too heavy sales and you want to be flashy and have fun, you're going to falter. If you go too heavy technical, you're not going to get the sales part of it. You're not going to get new business. You may be a great loan officer, but you may not get any business because no one likes you or even knows you exist. So you've got to find that balance.
Yeah. Blend both of them together.
You really have to blend both of them together. And I think that was the hardest part for me to discover on my journey. And I think that the quicker you find that out and you lean into your niche, then you'll be better off.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Now we just need more young people who are interested. It's a tough job to start when you're, I don't want to say older and have a family, but when you have different responsibilities.
Yeah.
It's weekends, it's evenings.
Yeah.
It's, my phone is always on. So I tell agents all the time, if you're working, I'm working. And we all know real estate agents that are busy are working all the time. They are out showing properties on weekends. They're listing properties. Sometimes they'll be home till 8, 9 o'clock at night. Yeah. So you have to be available for them and their clients.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between banker's hours, what we always say, and us as loan officers with a mortgage company or a lender, is that we're always available. We don't necessarily have a desk. We don't necessarily have an office. It's wherever we get. There's some good things with that, is that the work-life balance, you're able to spend more time with your family. I've taken phone calls on the ball field. I know you have too.
Yep.
Like you coach softball a lot. So you're able to still answer that phone and be with your family. Or important events like my kids graduating, yours graduating high school, mine high school, then college, some of them. I'm able to take days off, still work, still be in touch with clients and agents who need things. You have a cell phone.
Yeah.
Right? That's our number one tool.
Yeah.
Other than a computer is being on that phone. And like you said, the experience of 3, 4, 5 years, you get to the point where you have those answers already from experience. You've gone through it. You know what you can and can't do. And you find yourself rattling off debt ratios or, you can afford this much house without even having a computer or looking at things. And that's the difference between someone who starts brand new like you did and having confidence and having some experience.
Yeah.
Now there's been people that get in the business their first year absolutely kill it.
Yep.
They do really well. And I think if you talk to them, they have to go back to go, I had a lot of success and there's a lot of pitfalls. There's a lot of things to trip over and stumble over and learn. So, we're still, every week, there's something changes.
Yes.
We're learning.
Well, I was going to say, you mentioned rattling off things just second nature. But there's still things that I discover now. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that was a rule. I didn't know, it's just, or, that just changed. We can't do that anymore. So it's constantly just.
Or more, when did that change?
Yeah.
I didn't see that email.
But, it's constantly sharpening your tools, and
sure.
That's why I love our office, because we're around each other all the time. I stopped in here today and you're working and we're just, we're talking about the market,
Right.
Yeah.
It's great. Well, I'm glad you stopped by.
Yep.
I hope anybody out there who has an interest or even thinking about real estate or even the lending side, give Wes a call, give myself a call. We're happy to sit down with you, go over what it means. Maybe it's a good fit for you. Maybe it's not, but at least have that conversation. It's a lot of studying.
Yep.
There's tests to take, there's licensing. We go through all of that with you and help you, but you want to know up front what it's going to mean.
Yeah.
A lot of times we're hiring people and putting them to work for a year before they actually go on their own. Sometimes it's 2, 3 years.
Yeah.
Sometimes they figure out it's not for them.
Shoot, I think when I was hired and there was another person trying to become a loan officer and they never could pass the test. So, it's not easy. And that's what I tell people. I've had people ask me, can I do a part-time? No, yeah. Or if you want to try to do a part-time, sure. But if someone calls you and you're at your full-time job, they're just going to call someone else.
Correct.
You're
going to get more frustrated by losing deals.
Yeah, exactly.
And your agents are. They're not going to.
Yeah. So
I always thought bartending, waiting tables, things like that were great second jobs or great ways to meet people or meet clients.
Yeah.
You're very social. You're talking with people. It's especially bartending.
Yeah.
You're always going to talk to them. What do you do full time? Where do you go to work during the day?
Yep.
I still think it would be very difficult to do 2 jobs at once. Maybe your first year or 2.
Yeah, my first year, actually my first 2 years, I worked a part-time job just because I needed the extra money. So
I did. I remember going into Hollywood. This is way back.
yeah,
Going in, working the morning, leaving, working the lunch shift. This is before, I'm like you. I didn't grow up here. I didn't know a lot of people. So I spent the first 6 months or year engulfing myself or entrenching myself in extra activities, chamber, all these different committees and boards of trying to meet people, but pay bills, had kids, so I would leave, work a lunch shift, and then come back to the office to work some more, and then working evenings. Did that for probably a year.
It's a growth.
You do what you got to do.
Yeah, you do.
But at the end of the day, I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love it.
No, like I said, my only regret is I didn't start sooner.
Thanks for coming in today. Anybody needs anything, Southern Maryland, give Wes Wilkes a call. He'd be happy to help. He's got a lot of great realtors he works with. He can introduce you to them as well if you're looking to buy a house. So everybody have a great day and look forward to the next video. Stay tuned, follow, like us. We'll talk to you soon.